guys, I'm John Barrett with Creative Keto, and I am making a grilled Reuben on rye bread, almost zero carbs for this whole thing, believe it or not. This is going to be amazing. I'm super excited about it. Thanks for watching this video. I love Reuben sandwiches. I love them. They're really, really good. They're really, really yummy. But there's not a good way to have a keto Reuben sandwich until now because everything has changed. That's right. We have got some great stuff here. In fact, I've got my sauerkraut, which you've got to have on a good Reuben. We're going to fry up here on the griddle with some corned beef that we're going to chop up into this. And I've got my rye bread right here. Rye bread, the secret right here. Now check this out. Thin Slim Foods has a zero carb rye bread that's unbelievable. You can get a whole loaf right here. That's Thin Slim Foods, zero carbs, zero for each slice of bread. And this rye bread is awesome. I absolutely love it. I've tried a lot of different keto breads and Thin Slim Foods has one of the best. I love this bread. You gotta get some of this for your rye bread for your Reuben. All right, so now that we've got all of our ingredients laid out, I'm gonna go ahead and cook this up. Follow along with me. We're gonna take a little bit of our sauerkraut and we're gonna stick it down here on the griddle. Now I'm gonna cook up a bunch because I'm gonna eat this for the next few days. That's right. So I'm gonna make some leftovers today. Now, when I do the corned beef, what I like to do is chop it up into little pieces and mix all of this together. I like my Reuben to be kind of all like mashed together rather than thin slices and kind of layered and things like that. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm literally just gonna chop this up with my hands, just literally tear it apart. It'll kind of come apart when we stir and we do that. So just gonna chop up some more in here. You hear that sizzling? That's right, we've got our griddle sizzling right now, getting warm and yummy for our zero carb Reuben. I'm just gonna take a little bit of garlic powder and just sprinkle some of this on this right here just to get it going. And then just gonna fry this stuff up. You can get a good picture of this. Fry it up on our griddle. All we're looking to do here is warm it up, get it brown, get some of that sauerkraut browned up so that it's not so wet, just kind of raw there. But cooked up a little bit, browned up. So we'll let this cook on the griddle and just till you get kind of the consistency that you like. Once we get this warmed up, here's what we're gonna do. So, this is the other secret to a good grilled Reuben. Walden Farms makes 1,000 Island that is zero carbs right here. Walden Farms has some great products. They've got some great dressings out there and salad dressings. This one is 1,000 Island. It's literally 0 calories, 0 carbs just about. It's got like, I don't know, nothing in it, just hardly, but it's really good for our Reubens. I'm gonna take some of this and I'm gonna pour it right over our griddle here on our mix, just to kind of mix in some of that sauce so that we get some of that 1,000 Island secret sauce of the Reuben mixed in. We'll also probably put a little bit of that on the sandwich once we kind of get it assembled and we grill the sandwich. But for now, just to cook it up, we kind of want to get it warm. We want to get it going here on the griddle. So I'm going to fry this up and then I'll check back in with you guys here in just a minute. All right, we're just cooking up the sauerkraut, the corned beef, and our 1,000 Island dressing together here. We've got it all fried up now. It's pretty good. I've got it kind of sizzling on the griddle. So we're gonna go ahead and scoop this up and just kind of set it to the side on a bowl. That way we get all of this ready to assemble later once we prep our bread and our rye bread for the sandwich. So I'm just gonna scoop this up. Once we do that, we are then going to clean up this griddle. That way we can get it prepped for the bread. We're gonna do something kind of special with the bread to get it ready to grill this thing. It's gonna be really good. I think it takes the Reubens to the next level personally, but we're gonna do that. So once you get it all scooped up, we're gonna clear off our griddle and then we'll be back ready to work on our bread and then we'll assemble it together and then we are gonna chow down on a good keto Reuben sandwich. All right, we've got our griddle all cleaned up, ready to go for our rye bread prep. Now to do this, we're gonna take a little bit of butter, just gonna cut off a little here and get it sizzling on the griddle, we're gonna take some garlic powder right here. And we're gonna get that nice and garlicky, a good garlic butter right here on the griddle. We're gonna let that melt down just a little bit right here. We're gonna get our bread prepped just on one side of the bread. So one side of the bread. So we're gonna get this nice and going. One side of the bread, we're gonna get all buttered up and kind of leave it there. Let it sit for just a minute, just on one side, because we're gonna make this a grilled Reuben. So basically what we've gotta do is get one side kind of nice and grilled with the garlic butter in there so it soaks in. Then we're gonna assemble it, then we're gonna turn it inside out and put it on the griddle. I'll show you what I mean here in just a minute. But let's get our bread going with the butter and garlic on one side. This is what makes the sandwich right here. This is a vital step in order to get a good, tasty sandwich. So we're gonna check our bread every now and then. You don't want it to get too brown on one side, but you just want it to get grilled till you're finished on that one side. So make sure that we go around here, give it some time, kind of roll it in the butter a little bit, move it back and forth on that butter. That way we get it nice and grilled up. So we're gonna let this grill up for just a minute and then we'll come back with the next steps. All right, our rye bread has grilled up pretty nice the way that I want it on this side. So we're gonna take it and we're gonna put that down at this side. You can get it as grilled as you want, it's up to you. But we're gonna take this and we're gonna set our bread right here. So we're gonna set it face up, grilled side up, okay? Because we're gonna grill the outside once we assemble this thing, and we don't want that to get more burnt on the outside. So the grilled side that you already did is up, and here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna assemble our mix on here. I'm just gonna kind of set it on this. And you know, you can make this as thick as you want this thing or whatever. Some people like their Reubens so piled high that it's just overflowing in that. So we're gonna load it up pretty good though. I like to load mine pretty well because here's the deal. When you take a bite, so much of it falls out anyway that you just kind of lose some. So we don't want that to happen. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna load it up on this one side and we're gonna get our cheese over here. We got some Swiss cheese. And we're gonna take our Swiss, we're gonna put a layer on there, another layer on the bread. Then we're gonna assemble this thing just like this. So we got our grilled sides on the inside, our non-grilled on the outside. Now, we're gonna put some more butter down on our griddle here. Get that kind of going again, just like we did in the last step. We're gonna get some garlic powder here, and we're just gonna sprinkle some more garlic powder. We want that good flavor. We're gonna spread that all around the griddle here. Get that going with our butter. Get a good layer of butter down there. We want this thing to soak it in. So we're gonna take our Reuben right here that's assembled and we're gonna put it face down right here on the griddle. Now, we're gonna let this thing, I dropped my towel earlier. Hey, I'm back. And we're gonna let this thing cook on one side of that till it gets brown and toasted up. Then we're gonna flip it over on the other side, let it get brown and toasted so that we get our nice grilled Reuben. We get our cheese melted on there. So just keep an eye on it depending on how hot you've got your griddle. Woo! It's popping up on me. Depending on how hot you've got your griddle, that side may fry up really quick. You don't want it to go too fast, because if it goes too fast, it's not gonna melt the cheese on there. And we want that cheese to get good and melted on there. So we're just gonna kind of keep an eye on this every now and then. Flip it over, take a look at it, and we'll come back once this thing gets good and fried up. All right, we're getting our Reuben on one side good and grilled so that it gets a good crisp edge on the outside there. I keep glancing at it just to make sure that we're good. We're about ready to flip this thing and get the other side. I've got some butter already over here, so it'll kind of soak into that butter. So we'll flip it over, soak it into some of that butter. If you gotta put some more butter down, go ahead and do that. See, we got our nice outside grilled Reuben right here with our rye bread. Really, really good. So we're gonna let that other side get grilled up. Hopefully our cheese will start to kind of melt on the inside of that. Again, if you've got your griddle up too high and it cooks too fast, you're not gonna melt that cheese. So we want kind of a slow grilled effect on the bread so that our cheese has enough time to melt on there. And we are on our way to a grilled Reuben sandwich on rye keto style. Literally, this thing is almost zero carbs for the entire sandwich, which is amazing. So our cheese is getting melted here pretty good on the sides. You can, again, as long as you want to go. Some people like their bread pretty fried, pretty grilled up, so you can kind of get it nice and hard or whatever. You can keep it a soft bread if you want, whatever you want. I like to do this with the butter and the garlic. Look at that, man, we're popping all over the place. That's when you know you got a good griddle, is when you're popping up all kinds of excess meat and stuff that's falling off of this thing. So we'll check back once this gets done, and then we'll be ready to go, as long as I don't get popped to death over here by all this stuff. All right, our Reuben is finalized. We got this thing grilled up on both sides, ready to go. Our cheese is melting. It's starting to fall over the edges, which is a great sign. We want that ooey gooey goodness of a Reuben. So I'm gonna take this sandwich, get it over here, and do the infamous flop. Are you ready for this? I was gonna flop it, but I'm not going to now. I'm just gonna lay it down nicely. All right, here we go. We have got our Reuben ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, this right here is literally almost zero carbs for the whole thing. There might be about 1 or 2 carbs depending on how much sauerkraut you used and depending on which kind you got, but virtually it's zero carbs. Our bread is 0, the corned beef 0, our cheese 0, and just a little bit for the sauerkraut. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Reuben. This is gonna be so good. Again, hopefully you enjoyed this video and get that bread. Thin, slim food. They make a great rye bread. That's the secret to this, along with Walden Farms Thousand Island, and doing our garlic butter grilled toast is what makes this sandwich amazing. It's going to be so very good. I hope you enjoy this Reuben, and I hope you have a good day.